What is up, my dude and dudettes, and welcome back to TellerTube. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the subreddit r/choosingbeggars. But first, apparently only 23.4% of you are actually subscribed to the channel, so if you guys could do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see more videos like this. And with that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Choosing Beggar gets exposed in front of all of the neighborhood. So the story takes place a few days ago. I live in an apartment and I was cleaning the cave with my father. There I found a big box with all of my old toy cars. All of them look pristine and there is some that honestly look very good. So I say to myself, hey, those toys seem to work, so maybe I can give them to the kids that live nearby. So I take the box upstairs and put a message saying that I'm giving them away. After maybe 2 minutes, I have an answer from a mom that we are going to name Karen. She says she is interested and that if I want, I can get them to her or she will send her son to pick up the box. In my extreme kindness, I say that I will deliver. Then she gave me her address saying that her son is at home. And then I noticed they are the neighbor next door. And she does have kids, but they are something like 15 and 23. That's when I understood that she doesn't want the box for her kids, but to sell them. Now, I face a dilemma. I can give her the box and let her win, or don't, and she is going to be a pain in the butt later. She is a president of an HOA. I have no choice, so I choose the first option. Give the box to her son, ask why he wanted it. Apparently, it's for a collection. And I come home fuming a bit and feeling defeated. Then I saw a post on the convo from a lady I know, and she says that her church is looking for toys for children in need. So I wrote sorry, the Karen's family took the whole box for her kids' collection, but I am really sure that she can give a few to such a good association. Karen then posts a really salty message saying that of course she will, blah blah blah. But her pettiness and her BS excuse was shown to the public, so I feel better about the whole case. Thanks for reading. Oh man. Hey, can I have those for free? Sure, what do you need them for? Your kids are pretty old, don't you think? Yeah, but they're collecting them, trust me, they need them. Spoiled brother. Okay, during Christmas, my brother was getting a PS4, and in the middle of the store, he had the audacity to scream, cry, and beg for a PS4 Pro. My mom almost got it, but I convinced her not to. Next, we were getting shoes. I picked out the Jordans I liked, and so did he. He saw there was a new pair that were $400, and he begged for those too, and again, I had to convince my mom not to buy more crap he didn't need. Then we went to the store because I was getting a new phone because the contract on my old phone was up. My brother had another year on his phone, so he wasn't getting one. At the time, he had an iPhone XR and I had a Samsung S8. He thought I was getting another Samsung, so he didn't care, but when I said I wanted to look at iPhones instead, he lost it. Because he couldn't stand the fact that I was getting the 11 and he had the XR and he cried and begged for it, but this time my mom gave in and got him the iPhone. My brother is a spoiled child who cries and begs for everything he wants. Oh, those shoes are nice, but I want the newest ones that are $400, please. Wait, what? How come he's getting the iPhone 11 and I'm stuck with the XR? I want an 11 too. Shake my head. Story about an entitled person and a Christmas pageant. So first things first, there are a few things I could have done differently here that I can assure you I take into account now. Everybody slips up once in a while, we'll get to that. This is kind of an interesting story that I thought I'd share with people that is sort of a cross between an exposure story and an entitlement story. Being that the subject of this is music oriented, there will be a few terms that people are unaware of. I'll try my best to explain them. I also ramble a bit, oh well, enjoy I hope. I'm a musician and also a copyist orchestrator. Copyists are people who take your handwritten scribbled music, put it into a computer program, and make the nice pretty sheet music that everybody uses. It's a little more involved than that, but that's the basic gist. Some work for bigger publishing companies, some are more freelance based like me. So, about a year and a half ago, a music director I had worked with in the past contacts me and tells me he has 4 pieces of music that he would like me to clean. He explained that the person that engraved them, putting the handwritten music into the computer before, did a terrible job. Wrong rhythms, bad spacing, all around hard to read. There were 4 choir pieces, 4 voice parts, and piano, although 2 of them were lacking a piano part, more on this later, for some supposed Christmas pageant. I don't care what the subject of the music is, but this seemed to be a pretty easy, straightforward job. cleaning a score is usually easy money since it takes little work if you know what you're doing. Now, this person who I'll call Jim, he's a character. I had a sort of hate/kind of hate relationship with him from working with him in the past. He was difficult to work with and often encompassed all the things people disliked in a music director. Rude, arrogant, disorganized, inconsistent, didn't read music well, threw his bandmates under the bus when he was called out by production for his mistakes. But given the circumstances I was in and how much we knew each other already, I really needed the money. So I offered him a flat rate of $140 at $35 a chart. He agreed and sent the charts over, which were quite messy as described. I got to work cleaning his scores, and by the end of the next day or so, I was finished. Like I thought, very easy work, and I had totally redone the scores with my own in-house templates in order to make them a bit more print-ready and readable. So, I email him and tell him his scores are done and attach them for him to look over. This was my first mistake, and one I definitely do not make anymore. You could say a very stupid mistake. But I gave somebody I had a long prior working relationship the benefit of the doubt, but now I always add a watermark to drafts for people to look over regardless of how well they know me. It's nothing personal, it's because of stories like these. Great, thanks, Jim says. Can you add a piano part to those two that don't have one? Uh-oh, I think. Now there's a lot of variables here and it's almost intentionally vague. Do I make up my own piano part? Does he want me to add a piano part that he wrote? Lots of questions. Regardless, this wasn't originally part of the deal and would probably be more work than the initial project. So I tell him we can discuss that, but first I'll need to be paid for the work I already did. This might seem a little cold to some, but let me describe it like this. You go to have your oil changed, pop out, and when you come back you say, "Thanks, but I'd like you to paint my car too. I'll come back and pay for everything later when you're done." Yeah, no. So Jim responds like a robot by saying, "Here's an audio file with the piano part on it. Can you add that? Thanks." Attached is an audio file with long gaps between the songs, and it sounds as if it were recorded on a phonograph under the ocean in 1920. Yet again, I reiterate myself and tell him that the transcription, writing down the sheet music from an audio file with no prior music written for it, wasn't initially discussed, and it would be a higher rate added on top. And that is true. Transcription work is very, very time consuming even if you are adept at it. So Jim disappears for a day or two, so I reach out to email him to sternly remind him that he needs to pay me before we even begin to discuss altering the files and adding the transcription onto everything. "How many files did I have you do again? 3? Jim asks. What? Was I born yesterday? No, 4, I said. You know, the 4 files that are attached in this email chain that we are reading that you can see with your own eyeballs. Sorry, I forgot, lol, Jim laughs. Haha, Jim disappears again for a few days. After emailing him again, Jim drops the transcription ordeal on his own accord and says, "So, an even $100, right?" After correcting him, Jim goes silent. Now, this was an off-the-book thing with someone, but I realized that I probably could have been way more proactive. Or maybe since we didn't sign an agreement or anything, you could say F me, I'm screwed and it's my fault, I get that. It's more that this was an acquaintance that I had known for years, and like I said, I was foolish giving him the benefit of the doubt. Also, it made for an interesting story. So, about 2 months later, ironically on my birthday, Jim surprises me, lucky me, by paying me $100 on Facebook Messenger. At this point, I wasn't quite as worried with money, and I knew this guy was going to continually jerk my chain, so I just let it go. I guess strike 3 for me, but at this point I said screw it, so I wrote, "Thanks, I guess." "I always stick by my word," Jim writes. Oh, okay, how are some people like this? Fast forward about 6 months, and guess who has the absolute audacity to contact me again? Yeah, this time he says something along, "Hey, those charts I had you do were for a Christmas pageant I'm writing. I attached a file for you, could you transcribe the entire file?" Just for craps and giggles, I open the file. It's 90 minutes. 90 minutes. To put this in perspective, a 5-minute audio recording could take a few hours, a few days, even over a week to transcribe, given the complexity. But 90 minutes is crazy. It's not unheard of, but it's an extreme, huge amount of work that would take ages. Something you wouldn't willy-nilly ask of someone. This would probably be a sit-down sort of thing. Now, I have no intention of working with this person, but just for my own morbid curiosity, I ask him, 90 minutes? Do you know how long that will take? When would you even need this by? 2 weeks, Jim responds. Maybe that's possible with a team of transcribers, but I don't know if that's even really possible by myself unless I work tirelessly day in and day out. I also need you to write an overture, entr'acte, exit music, scene change music, and then orchestrate and write band parts for everyone and make sheet music for all of that. So basically, write and engrave an entire musical in 2 weeks. Loony. This is a ludicrous amount of work that would take months, normally covered by a large group of people. Okay, I'll need $16,000, I say. Probably highballing for what the production will actually be, but not far off at all for other projects. I don't have that, but I'll pay $600, Jim says. Now, I'm kind of amused by this. $600 won't even cover the transcription, I said. Well, I'm paying for this out of pocket, Jim says. I really need this done in 2 weeks. Okay, that'll be $16,000. Look, I really need this done, Jim says. I'm paying out of my pocket. Well, I can't help you there. I really need this work done. Nobody's funding it but me. Okay, great. I don't owe you anything, actually. So he basically wanted me to write an entire musical that he could slap his name on in 2 weeks. Ha. It's almost like if somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, I have a circus I'm putting together, Jim's Circus. I have the tent already, but I'm going to need you to come up with the animals, performers, and everything else by tomorrow. I'm also going to need you to find an investor so we can pay everyone's salaries. I'll pay you in coupons to the snack bar. I really need this done." So after a little more interesting back and forth, or more or less politely tell Jim he's crap out of luck and honestly insulting, and should really be careful about the way he goes about framing things in the future because bigger groups of people or those with more professional clientele would electively blacklist him for this kind of behavior. Jim pulls the whole, "We work together, I got you started" spiel. I told him good luck on his Christmas pageant. Oh, Jimmy boy. Hey, got a new project idea for you. Can you transcript a whole musical for me? I'll pay you $600. Oh, and I need it in 2 weeks. Chief, that could take months of work and cost around $16,000. Not gonna happen. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, smash that like button as it would really help me out. Subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date with my latest videos, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.